Hey YouTubers, welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about 11 investing tips that the cast from America's Shark Tank talked about in a 2018 video on Vanity Fair. Now they obviously were talking about investing in businesses, but the tips that they talked about are also useful when you're looking at investing in shares. But at the same time, it's always great to either think about starting up your own business or looking at ways that you can get involved in one as well. Now, while the intro video plays, why not comment down below to let me know about a business venture that you might have taken on, or if you've seen Shark Tank, let me know what was the best pitch that you've seen on there. Tip number 1, never spend the principal, only the interest. Now this was advice from Kevin O'Leary, aka Mr. Wonderful. Now he got this advice from his mother. He basically says, buy things that pay you a cash flow. Now I've been looking at various ways to become financially free. And the only way to really do this is through passive income. Now the only way that I've managed to try and find true passive income is through dividends in stocks. Now, yeah, it does cost a lot of money in order to build up a dividend portfolio that will be paying you out a decent salary every month. But hey, this just means that you've got to get started as early as possible. At the same time, if you have a skill, build up on that skill to a level that you can then utilize that skill to exchange time for money. Now, right now, obviously, I'm doing these YouTube videos and I'm not getting thousands or millions of views. However, one day, I'd love to be in a position of the likes of Mr. Beast, where I can be making so much money through YouTube videos that I can just give it away to people who need it more than me. Now also, once you've built up a skill, you can create courses where you can spend all that time at the beginning and have it set up on the internet so that it just continually brings you money on a regular basis. Now the other opportunities here are buying into bonds that pay interest. But at the same time, throughout all of these ideas, the one thing you need to take into consideration is not to touch the honeypot, but just let it flow over the edges. And this is the way the rich become richer, because they don't touch that initial investment. The second tip was always be learning, from Mark Cuban, the tech billionaire. Now he said that understanding technology is what really made him the billionaire that he is today. Now being ahead of the game, understanding advancements in technology has given him huge opportunities, but it doesn't always go smooth sailing. Now, I started a business in the cloud industry based around cloud storage. Now, unfortunately, I took a bet on the wrong side of the cloud, and it didn't work out as planned. However, that part of my life allowed me to learn so much that I've been able to put into practice in other places in my life since then. Now, the other thing to remember is that there are 24 hours in a day. I personally sleep on average around 6 hours of those, but I guess most people sleep around 8 hours. Now that means that we've got 16 hours left in the day. Now obviously if you're working, that probably means that 8 to 10 hours of your day goes to your work, including commuting. That leaves you with 6 hours. Now, what are you doing with that time? Yeah, for sure, you need to wind down, you need to relax a bit. But why not learn something while you're relaxing? If you can find something that you're really interested in, and then you learn upon that, over that time period, working on that for 6 hours a day, or even less, even just 2 hours a day, you're going to build up great knowledge in a specific topic, and then you can work on towards monetizing that at a later date. Tip number 3, buy the real estate for your business. This came from Barbara. Now she's the queen of real estate. Now she obviously means that if you've got a business, try your best to buy the store or the office that you're operating in. The main reason for this is you can truly have control of your business better if you're not paying profits to the landlord. Now in this day and age, it's even easier to do this, as there's lots of ways in which you can start up a business from home. Therefore, your only true cost is either your computer or your smartphone and your internet. And you probably already have those. Essentially, if I look at this YouTube channel as a business, my real estate is the property that I'm already living in. And on top of that, it's YouTube. And YouTube is a free platform to use. Tip number 4, invest in people you like. And this came from Laurie, the queen of QVC. Now she's gone further to help multiple people become multi-millionaires using her connections within QVC, plus many other ways as well. Now what she meant is that there's going to be times where you either have to invest in someone or you're going to have to hire someone. And basically what she says is just you need to enjoy working with that person. It's always great to know that you're working with someone that shares the same values as you, someone who's ethical, someone who's honest. Now this obviously applies to investing in stocks and shares as well. When you're researching up on a company, if you don't like what the company does, you shouldn't really be investing in them. Because at the end of the day, anything you invest in, you want to see them thrive. So you don't want to invest in something you don't like and then be rooting for them to do really well. And now this ties in really nicely with the next tip. Invest in businesses that you understand. This was from Daymond John, the creator of FUBU. Now I don't know about you, but I love the hip hop culture back in the 90s. And FUBU was just one of those cool brands that all the cool kids were wearing, thanks to the likes of the lip-licking LL Cool J. Yeah, I don't think I should do that ever again. Now once again, this comes into play with stocks and shares as well. Now there's lots of different businesses out there, and it's essential that you understand what they are actually doing and how they're doing it. If you don't, anything can happen in the economy and you wouldn't know what's going to happen with that company that you've invested in. For instance, I know a lot about tech, but I don't know every type of technology that there is out there. So if I'm not doing my research properly and I start investing into companies that I don't really understand, there's a likelihood that I'm not going to understand how the economy affects that company itself. But I do understand the business model of Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook. And hey, I'm definitely going to be investing in those. Tip number 6, be open to new ideas and perspectives. This came from Mark Cuban. Now in a business, if everyone looks like you, you're missing out on lots of opportunities. Different communities can introduce new opportunities. Working with someone who is different to you can bring back great value. The reason for that kind of ties in with the previous tip of always be learning, because if you can get leverage of the knowledge and information from someone else, together you can both become a powerhouse by utilizing each other's skills. Tip number 7, do something you love. This came from Daymond John. Now, all successful people, no matter who they are, no matter what level they're at, no matter if it's someone who's doing well at your work, no matter if it's someone who's a billionaire, the one thing that's common between all of them is the fact that all of those successful people enjoy what they're doing. Now, sometimes they may look like they're working like a dog, but if you talk to them about what they're actually working on, they'll show so much passion about what they're actually doing. And that's because it doesn't feel like work to them. They're actually enjoying everything that they're doing. Therefore, if you can enjoy what you're doing, the best thing to do is just surround yourself with like-minded people. Tip number 8. This came from Laurie, and she basically said, excitement is infectious. She basically gave the example of how people would come into the Shark Tank and pitch something, and she wouldn't really feel that interested about it. However, the excitement from the person actually pitching the product to them made her become interested. And this ties into the previous tip of doing something you love. If you love what you're doing, you'll be able to be excited about it. And when you're excited, you can then talk about it in a way that it becomes infectious. And so other people become attracted to the idea that you have. And therefore, it just becomes easier to sell. And this falls into many ways of business. Obviously, if you're selling a product, but at the same time, even with stocks and shares, etc. If the CEO is really passionate about what they're talking about, it's easy for you to buy into that company. Now, at the same time, if you're able to buy into that stock and shares, that must mean that the company is also doing a great job in selling their products as well, because they have passion about what they're selling. This obviously means that that stock is probably going to do pretty well. Tip number 9, invest in smart people. This came from Barbara. Now, when she mentioned this, obviously she's looking at people who come into the Shark Tank who are smart. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean book smart. This also means street smart. You can talk to someone who's got multiple degrees, multiple PhDs, got multiple letters at the end of their name. But if they're not street smart, their business is probably not going to thrive. Now, this comes really clear with the whole story of Nikola Tesla. He was one of the biggest geniuses in the whole world. However, he wasn't very street smart slash business smart, and so therefore he was looking at other people to really sell the information that he had. And this ended up with him becoming one of the most forgotten geniuses in the world. Tip number 10. Nice sells. This was a tip from Mark Cuban. He basically said that one of the most underrated skills is being nice. Now, there was obviously a time back in the days where you had to be ruthless, you had to be mean in order to make it to the top. However, that's not the case anymore. The nice guy actually wins now. Now, I always love looking at Hollywood for this. If we look at some of the most influential and most powerful people in the industry right now, you've got people like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Will Smith, Kevin Hart. There's obviously loads more, but just picking those three, immediately you can tell that they're just really kind people. They're just nice, fun-going people, which really proves this point that nice does sell nowadays. And finally, tip number 11, something to always keep in your mind. Many investments do not work out, and all the sharks really chimed in on this one. Some of the things they said about this was that if you invested in a company 3 years ago and every single year they've been doing pretty bad, it probably means that it's probably time to jump ship. Another one of the sharks mentioned, it doesn't matter how many times you fail, because that one time when you do succeed, that's all that everyone really remembers. Now, obviously, there's going to be many times where you could end up failing, and you have to work through that and you have to rise above it. And eventually, that one time that it succeeds, it's going to reap huge benefits. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to the effort that you put in. So taking all of these tips into consideration, that's really going to help you in multiple ways in your investing journey, whether you're looking to start up a business or just generally in your life, even if it's to find ways to make your day-to-day job life better. I hope you found this video interesting. I'll put a link below in the description for the original video where the sharks are talking about these 11 tips. Feel free to head over there and check out the video for yourselves. But for now, why not hit that subscribe button? And don't forget to hit the bell button as well so you get a notification when my next video comes out. And as always, don't forget to like, share and comment. See you in the next video. Bye.